2 weeks later, Captain Yuki stood in the great assembly hall of the Valerian homeworld, addressing the largest gathering of peaceful species in galactic history. Representatives from 47 different civilizations had come to hear about the mysterious humans who had defeated the Korath hunters. "Friends," Captain Yuki began, her voice carrying to every corner of the massive hall, "for too long we have lived in fear. Fear of the hunters, fear of the slavers, fear of those who take our people and destroy our dreams. Today, I want to tell you about hope." The audience listened intently as she described the battle in the Kepler 442 system. When she finished, the hall erupted in excited conversations. Many species found it hard to believe that only 3 ships had defeated 6 Korath hunters. Ambassador Toru from the peaceful Melody civilization raised his hand. "Captain Yuki, you say these humans fight to protect others. But how do we know they won't become hunters themselves? Power often corrupts even the best intentions." Before Captain Yuki could answer, Admiral Hajin's voice came through the communication system. The human leader was speaking from his ship, which remained hidden outside the Valerian system. "Ambassador Toru, that's an excellent question," Admiral Hajin said. "Let me answer it by telling you what humans are doing right now, while we speak." A large display screen showed a map of the local galactic sector. Red dots appeared in several locations, each one representing a Korath hunting operation in progress. "We have identified 12 active Korath hunting operations currently taking place," Admiral Hajin continued. 3 human task forces are moving to stop them. We're not asking for payment. We're not demanding territory or resources. We're simply doing what we believe is right. The display showed human ships moving toward each red dot. As the audience watched, several of the red dots disappeared, hunting operations that had been stopped by human intervention. "Moreover," Admiral Hajin added, "we're sharing our defensive technologies with any peaceful species that wants them. We believe everyone should have the ability to protect themselves." Dr. Minho appeared on the screen next to Admiral Hajin. "We've also identified the locations of several major slave markets operated by the Korath and their allies. We'll be shutting those down and freeing the captives over the next few months." The assembly hall fell silent. For generations, the peaceful species had dreamed of someone stopping the hunters, but they had never believed it was possible. Now these humans were not only stopping individual attacks, they were systematically dismantling the entire galactic slave trade. "How many ships do you have?" asked Captain Mira from the Centauri Federation. "Enough," Captain G1 replied simply. "But more importantly, we have human determination. When humans decide something is wrong, we don't stop until we fix it." Over the following months, the galaxy changed dramatically. The Korath hunting fleets found themselves constantly under attack by human task forces. Every time they tried to capture innocent people, human ships appeared to stop them. The hunters were becoming the hunted. Commander Taman, the Korath leader who had escaped from the first battle, found himself in an emergency meeting with the Korath High Command. His superiors were not happy. "You lost 5 ships to 3 unknown vessels," growled Supreme Hunter Vex. "How is this possible?" "Sir, these humans fight like nothing we've ever seen," Taman explained desperately. "They're faster than us, stronger than us, and they predict our every move. It's like they've been studying warfare for their entire existence. That's exactly what they've been doing," said a new voice. Everyone in the Korath command room turned to see Dr. Minho's image appearing on their communication screen. The human had somehow hacked into their most secure systems. "Greetings, Korath leaders," Dr. Minho said politely. "I wanted to personally deliver a message from Admiral Hajin." "This is impossible," Supreme Hunter Vex roared. "Our communications are protected by the best encryption in the galaxy. Human computers are very good at solving puzzles," Dr. Minho explained calmly. "Now here's the message. Stop hunting peaceful species or we will stop you. Permanently." "You think your few ships can defeat the entire Korath fleet?" Supreme Hunter Vex snarled. "We don't need to defeat your entire fleet," Dr. Minho replied. "We just need to make hunting unprofitable. Every time you try to capture someone, we'll be there to stop you. Every slave market you operate will shut down. Every hunter ship you send out will either capture or destroy. Eventually, you'll realize that it's easier to find honest work." The transmission ended, leaving the Korath leaders staring at a blank screen. Meanwhile, on the Valerian homeworld, Captain Yuki was working with human engineers to establish the first joint human-Valerian research station. The facility would study ways to protect peaceful species and develop new technologies for exploration and discovery. "Captain," called Dr. Nami excitedly, "the humans have agreed to help us establish research stations in 12 other systems. We'll be able to study crystal beings, gas whale migrations, and plasma forests without worrying about hunters." Captain Yuki smiled. The galaxy was becoming a safer place for everyone who wanted to learn and explore, rather than conquer and destroy. Admiral Hajin contacted the research station from his ship. "Captain Yuki, we've received formal requests for protection from over 100 peaceful species. It seems word of our alliance is spreading faster than we expected. Are you ready for that responsibility, Admiral?" Captain Yuki asked. "Humans have been preparing for this responsibility our entire history," Admiral Hajin replied. "Every war we fought, every weapon we built, every tactical lesson we learned, it was all practice for this moment. We're ready to be the galaxy's immune system against predators." As if to prove his point, alerts began sounding on both ships. Lieutenant Borum's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, we're detecting a massive Korath fleet moving toward the Delton system." 15 hunter ships, sir. The biggest operation we've seen yet." Admiral Hajin smiled grimly. "All ships prepare for immediate departure. The Deltons are a peaceful species known for their art and poetry. I will not allow them to be turned into slaves." "Admiral," Captain Yuki said quickly, "the Valerian Council has voted. We want to help. We're not fighters, but we can provide medical support and technical assistance." "Captain, this could be dangerous." "Admiral, you taught us that the strong should protect the weak, but you also taught us that good people must stand together against evil. We stand with humanity." The joint human-Valerian fleet departed for the Delton system within hours. Behind them, communication networks across the galaxy carried the news. The humans were coming to help again. In slave markets throughout the galaxy, guards looked nervously at their captives, wondering when the humans would arrive to free them. On hunter ships, crews questioned whether their next hunt would be worth the risk of facing human task forces. The age of unchallenged predators was ending. The age of galactic justice had begun. As Admiral Hajin's fleet jumped to hyperspace, he made one final communication to all human ships in the galaxy. "This is Admiral Hajin to all human forces. We have work to do. The galaxy is counting on us to prove that the strong can protect the weak instead of preying upon them. Let's show them what humans are really capable of." Across dozens of star systems, human ships received the message and began moving toward their targets. The Korath had ruled through fear for centuries, but now they faced something they had never encountered before. A species that was stronger than them and fought for justice instead of profit. The galaxy would never be the same again. Captain Yuki stared at the communication screen with wide eyes. The voice speaking to her was gentle and kind, nothing like the cold, deadly tone these humans had used with the Korath hunters. She looked around at her crew, who were all watching her with hopeful but nervous expressions. This is Captain Yuki of the Valerian research vessel Stellar Bloom," she replied carefully. "We are not injured, but we are very confused. Who are you? Where did you come from?" Captain Jiwan's image appeared on the Valerian ship's main screen. She looked like no alien species Captain Yuki had ever seen. The human had smooth, pale skin, dark hair, and kind eyes that seemed very intelligent. She wore a uniform that was both practical and elegant. "We are humans from the planet Earth," Captain Jiwan explained. "We've been watching what happens in this part of the galaxy for several months. When we saw the Korath attacking peaceful scientists, we decided it was time to introduce ourselves." "You saved our lives," Dr. Nami said, stepping forward. "The Korath would have made us into slaves. How can we ever thank you? You can thank us by continuing your good work." Admiral Hajin's voice came over the communication system as his image joined Captain Jiwan's. "We've studied your species. Captain Yuki, the Valerians are known throughout the galaxy for their peaceful nature and their contributions to science and medicine. The galaxy is better with you in it." Captain Yuki felt tears forming in her large eyes. For so long, peaceful species like hers had lived in fear of hunters and slavers. The galactic community had laws against slavery, but they were rarely enforced. Most civilizations were too afraid of the Korath and other hunter fleets to stand up to them. "Admiral," she said slowly, "you fought 6 Korath ships with only 3 vessels. How is that possible? The Korath are some of the most feared warriors in the galaxy." Dr. Minho appeared on the screen next to the other humans. Captain Yuki, may I explain something about human history? It might help you understand. Please, Captain Yuki nodded. Humans are unusual, Dr. Minho began. Most species in the galaxy developed peacefully. They learned to work together, avoid conflict, and build beautiful civilizations. Humans did things differently. We spent thousands of years fighting against each other. Fighting each other? Navigator Kenji asked with surprise. Your own species? Yes, Dr. Minho said sadly. Humans nearly destroyed themselves many times. We had wars that covered our entire planet. We built weapons that could have ended all life on Earth. But each time we came close to destroying ourselves, we learned something new. We became stronger, smarter, and more determined to survive. Admiral Hajin continued the explanation. Every human weapon, every tactical move you saw today was developed because we needed them to fight other humans. When peaceful species fight, they use simple tactics because they never needed to become expert warriors. When humans fight, we use everything we've learned from 10,000 years of warfare. Captain Yuki was beginning to understand. So you became good at fighting because you fought so much? Exactly, Captain G1 said. But here's the most important part. Humans also learned something else from all that fighting. We learned that the strong should protect the weak, not hunt them. We learned that bullies must be stopped no matter how dangerous they are. Medical Officer Yunbi from the human ship Inchen's Shield contacted the Valerian vessel. Captain Yuki, we're detecting some minor radiation exposure on your ship from the Korath weapons. May we send over a medical team to check on your crew? Of course, Captain Yuki replied gratefully. An hour later, Yunbi and 2 other human medics were aboard the Stellar Bloom, carefully examining each Valerian crew member. Captain Yuki was amazed by how gentle and skilled the humans were. Their medical technology was different from Valerian equipment, but it worked very well. Your crew is fine, Yunbi reported. The radiation exposure was minimal. But I have to say, Captain, your research on the crystal beings is fascinating. We've never seen anything like them. You've been studying our work? Dr. Nami asked. We study everything, Dr. Minho admitted. Humans are very curious. When we found out about the galaxy and all the different species in it, we wanted to learn about everyone. The Valerians particularly interested us because you're so dedicated to discovering new life and protecting it. Captain Yuki led the humans to the observation deck, where they could see the beautiful crystal formations floating in space nearby. The alien life forms were still singing their gentle songs, completely unaware of the battle that had just taken place. They're incredible, Admiral Hajin said softly. How long have they been here? We think maybe millions of years, Captain Yuki explained. They don't seem to age or die the way other life forms do. They just exist, creating beauty and music in the emptiness of space. This is exactly why we had to stop the Korath, Captain G1 said firmly. If they had captured you, who would have protected these crystal beings? Who would have continued studying them and sharing their beauty with the galaxy? The group stood quietly for a moment, listening to the alien songs and watching the crystal formations dance slowly in the starlight. It was a perfect example of the kind of wonder and beauty that existed in the galaxy, the kind of thing that hunters and slavers would destroy without a second thought. Admiral, Captain Yuki said finally, what happens now? The Korath will tell other hunter fleets about humans. They might come back with more ships. Admiral Hajin smiled grimly. Let them come. Captain Yuki, I want you to know something. Today was not just about saving your ship. Today was about sending a message to every slaver, hunter, and bully in the galaxy. What message? That humans are here now, and we don't like bullies. Communications Officer Sunho contacted Admiral Hajin from the Soul's Pride. Sir, we're receiving signals from across the galaxy. Word of the battle is spreading through alien communication networks. Everyone wants to know who the humans are. Good, Admiral Hajin replied. Captain Yuki, would you be willing to help us? We need someone to introduce humans to the galactic community. Someone who can tell other species that we come in peace, but we will fight to protect the innocent. Captain Yuki thought for a moment. This was the most important decision of her life. These humans had saved her and her crew, but more than that, they represented hope for every peaceful species in the galaxy. Admiral Hajin, she said formally, it would be an honor to help introduce humanity to the galaxy. But I have one condition. What's that? Promise me that humans will always use their strength to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Admiral Hajin extended his hand in the human gesture of agreement. Captain Yuki, that's exactly why we're here. As they shook hands, both leaders knew they were starting something that would change the galaxy forever. The age of hunters preying on the peaceful was about to end. The age of human protection was about to begin. But first, they had to get Captain Yuki and her crew safely home. And they had to prepare for the Korath response that was surely coming. The space battle began with Commander Taman's angry roar. All ships, destroy the unknown vessels. Show them what happens when someone interferes with Korath business. The 6 massive hunter ships turned their weapons toward the 3 human vessels. Energy beams and plasma bolts fired across space, lighting up the darkness with deadly colors. The Korath had been hunting and fighting for centuries. They were confident that 3 small ships could never defeat 6 large ones. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Captain G1 took control of the battle from her position on the Soul's Pride. Her fingers moved quickly across her control panel as she coordinated the human attack. Lieutenant Kyung-ho, take the Busan Lightning and show them how humans dance in space. Lieutenant Kyung-ho was the best pilot in the human fleet. His ship, the Busan Lightning, was built for speed and precision. As the Korath weapons fired at him, he made his ship move in ways that seemed impossible. The small human vessel twisted and spun through space, avoiding every shot the aliens fired at it. How is that ship moving like that? Commander Taman shouted on his bridge. No ship can turn that fast. But humans were different from other species. While most aliens needed special machines to survive the crushing forces of fast movement in space, humans could handle much more. Lieutenant Kyung-ho pulled his ship through turns that would have killed a Korath pilot. And he was barely breathing hard. The Busan Lightning spun around one of the hunter ships like an angry wasp, too fast for the big ship's weapons to track. Every time the Korath tried to hit it, the human ship was already somewhere else. Admiral, Captain G1 called out, beginning kinetic bombardment. Fire when ready, Admiral Hajin replied. The Korath expected the humans to use energy weapons like plasma beams or laser cannons, because that's what every civilized species used. Instead, Engineer Sora activated humanity's secret weapon, the kinetic cannons. These weapons were beautifully simple. They fired solid tungsten rods at incredible speeds, so fast that they hit with the power of nuclear bombs. While other species had focused on complex energy shields and exotic technologies, humans had perfected the ancient art of throwing rocks really hard. The first tungsten rod hit a Korath hunter ship in the center of its hull. The alien ship's energy shields, designed to stop plasma and lasers, did absolutely nothing against a simple piece of metal moving at impossible speed. The rod punched completely through the ship from front to back, causing massive explosions inside. Impossible, Commander Taman screamed. Their weapons went right through our shields. Second target acquired, Engineer Sora announced calmly. Another tungsten rod fired from the Soul's Pride. This one hit a hunter ship's engine section. The ship immediately lost power and began spinning helplessly through space, its hunting days over. The Korath were panicking now. 2 of their 6 ships were already out of the fight, and they still had not managed to hit even one human vessel. These unknown aliens fought with a combination of speed, precision, and raw power that the Korath had never seen before. Commander Hyunwoo, captain of the Incheon's shield, decided to show the aliens another human innovation. His ship's computer had been watching and learning from every move the Korath made. While the aliens relied on their experience and standard tactics, the human AI was already predicting what they would do next. Korath vessel attempting to flank us from the left, the computer announced. Adjusting course to intercept, Commander Hyunwoo smiled. The Korath ship was trying to sneak around behind the humans just as the computer had predicted. But when the alien ship arrived at its planned attack position, it found the Incheon's shield already waiting there with weapons pointed right at it. Surprise, Commander Hyunwoo said quietly, and fired. The third Korath ship took heavy damage and began retreating. Its captain had never faced an enemy that could predict his moves before he made them. It was like fighting someone who could see into the future. Captain Yuki and her crew watched the battle from their trapped position with amazement. The 3 unknown ships moved through space like they were part of some beautiful, deadly dance. Every movement was perfect, every shot hit its target, and the terrifying Korath hunters that had seemed so powerful just minutes ago were being defeated by these mysterious newcomers. Who are they? Dr. Nami whispered. I've never seen ships like those or tactics like this. Whoever they are, Captain Yuki said softly, They're saving our lives. The remaining 3 Korath ships tried to group together for a final attack. Commander Taman was furious and embarrassed. His proud hunting fleet was being destroyed by 3 small ships from a species he had never heard of. All remaining vessels, focus fire on the lead enemy ship, he ordered. Destroy them all. But Captain Jiwan had anticipated this move too. As the 3 damaged Korath ships lined up for their attack, she gave an order that showed just how differently humans thought about space combat. All ships, ramming speed formation. Show them what happens when they threaten innocents in front of humans. The 3 human ships suddenly accelerated directly toward the Korath vessels. Most species would never consider such a dangerous tactic. But humans had been fighting desperate battles for their entire history. They knew that sometimes the most unexpected move was the most effective. The Korath panicked. They had expected a careful, long-range battle, not 3 enemy ships charging straight at them like ancient warriors with swords. Their shots went wild as they tried to hit the rapidly approaching human vessels. At the last second, the human ships split apart and fired their weapons at point-blank range. The tungsten rods hit the Korath ship so close that the humans could see the explosions through their windows. 2 more hunter ships were disabled, their hulls torn open and their crews unconscious. Only Commander Taman's ship remained functional, and it was badly damaged. The proud Korath commander looked at his ruined fleet and realized he was facing something completely new. These humans fought with a fury and intelligence that made the Korath look like children playing with toys. "This is impossible," he muttered. "We are the hunters. We are the strongest. How can some unknown species defeat us so easily?" Captain Jiwan's voice came over the communication system, speaking perfect Korath again. "Commander Taman, this is your final chance. Withdraw now or join your friends in the scrapyard." For the first time in his life, the feared Korath hunter felt afraid. His 6 powerful ships had been reduced to 1 damaged vessel in just a few minutes. He had never retreated from a hunt before, but he had never faced anything like these humans. "All ships," he said quietly to his remaining crew. "Emergency retreat. Maximum speed." The last Korath ship limped away into hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of 5 hunter vessels and a very surprised Valyrian research crew. Captain Jiwan opened a new communication channel, this time speaking to the Valyrians in their own language. Her voice was warm and friendly, completely different from the cold efficiency she had used with the Korath. "This is Captain Jiwan of the Earth vessel Soul's Pride. Are you injured? Do you need assistance?" 3 light hours away from the Korath attack, Admiral Hodgin stood in the command center of the UES Soul's Pride. The human ship hung invisible in space, its advanced hiding systems making it impossible for alien sensors to detect. Around him, dozens of human officers worked quietly at their stations, watching the drama unfold on their screens. "Admiral, the Korath ships have completely surrounded the Valyrian vessel," reported Lieutenant Borum from the sensor station. "They're preparing to deploy capture nets." Admiral Hodgin was a tall, serious man with gray hair and kind but strong eyes. He had spent his whole life in Earth's space navy, but this was the first time he had to make a decision that would affect the entire galaxy. For 6 months, human ships had been secretly watching alien civilizations, learning their languages and studying their technology. They had planned to make contact eventually, but not like this. "Show me the tactical display," he ordered. A large 3-dimensional image appeared in the center of the command room. It showed the 6 Korath hunter ships surrounding the small Valyrian research vessel. The alien ships were huge and threatening, covered with weapons and capture devices. The Valyrian ship looked tiny and helpless by comparison. Dr. Minho, the ship's alien expert, stepped forward. He was a young scientist who had studied every piece of information humans had gathered about galactic civilizations. "Admiral, those are Valyrians. They're one of the most peaceful species we've identified. They've never hurt anyone in their entire recorded history." "What about the Korath?" Admiral Hodgin asked. "Slavers," Dr. Minho said with disgust. "They hunt peaceful species and sell them in illegal markets. They've been doing it for centuries. The galactic community knows about them but can't stop them because they're too strong and too organized." Captain Jiwan, the ship's tactical officer, joined the conversation. She was a strong woman with sharp eyes and quick reflexes. "Sir, we've been tracking this Korath fleet for 2 weeks. They've already captured 3 other ships, 2 cargo vessels and a passenger liner, hundreds of innocent people." Admiral Hodgin watched the display as the Korath nets began to form. He thought about Earth's first contact protocols. Human leaders had spent years planning how to introduce themselves to the galaxy. They had imagined peaceful meetings, careful diplomacy, and slow, careful relationship building. They had not imagined watching innocent people being captured by slavers, while humans had the power to stop. Admiral, called out Communications Officer Sunho. The Valerian ship just sent out a distress signal on all frequencies. They're asking for help. Any response from other alien ships? Admiral Hajin asked. No, sir. We're monitoring all communication channels. No one else is in this sector. No one else is coming to help them. Admiral Hajin closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his decision was made. Dr. Minho, in your opinion, what would happen to those Valerians if the Korath capture them? They'll be sold as slaves, sir. Valerians are valuable because they're intelligent and peaceful. They make good scientists and doctors for criminal organizations. Dr. Minho paused. Sir, those 12 people will spend the rest of their lives in chains helping bad people do terrible things. And if we intervene? Captain Jiwan answered immediately. The Korath won't expect us, sir. They've never seen human technology or tactics. We have every advantage. Except that this will be humanity's first contact with alien civilizations, Admiral Hajin said slowly. Instead of a peaceful greeting, we'll be introducing ourselves by attacking someone. That will change how every species in the galaxy sees us forever. The bridge went quiet. Everyone understood the importance of this moment. Whatever happened next would determine humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come. Admiral, said Lieutenant Borum urgently, the Korath are beginning their final approach. The Valerians have maybe 5 minutes before they're captured. Admiral Hajin looked at the display again. He could see the small Valerian ship surrounded by predators with nowhere to run and no way to fight back. He thought about Earth, where humans had spent thousands of years learning to fight against bullies and tyrants. Humans had made many mistakes, but they had always tried to protect the innocent when they could. Captain G1, he said finally, prepare the fleet for combat. We're going to introduce humanity to the galaxy. Captain G1 smiled. Yes, sir. What are your orders? Contact the Busan Lightning and the Inchin's Shield. Tell them to prepare for immediate decloak and attack formation. We're going to show these slavers what happens when they threaten innocent people in front of humans. The bridge came alive with activity. Officers moved quickly to their battle stations, preparing for humanity's first space combat with aliens. The 3 human ships had been designed using the best technology Earth could produce, combining lessons learned from centuries of human warfare with new discoveries about space combat. All ships report ready, Admiral Captain G1 announced. Dr. Minho, do we have the Korath language in our translation computers? Yes, sir. We've been studying their communications for weeks. We can speak to them. Good. I want them to understand exactly who they're dealing with. Admiral Hajin moved to the center of the bridge. All ships decloak and move to attack formation. Captain G1, open a channel to the Korath commander. The 3 human ships suddenly appeared in space around the battle zone. Their sleek, dark hulls reflected the starlight as they moved into position with perfect precision. The ships looked different from anything else in the galaxy. Smaller than the Korath hunters, but somehow more dangerous. Channel open. Sir? Reported Communications Officer Sunho. Admiral Hajin's voice was calm but filled with authority as he spoke in perfect Korath language. Korath vessels, this is Admiral Hajin of the Earth Fleet. You will immediately cease your hostile actions and withdraw from this system. This is your only warning. On the main screen, they could see the Korath ship suddenly stopping their attack. The aliens were clearly confused by the appearance of 3 unknown ships that had seemed to come from nowhere. Commander Taman's angry voice came through the communication system. Unknown vessels, identify yourselves. You are interfering with a legal hunting operation. Legal? Admiral Hajin's voice became cold. Slavery is never legal. You have 10 seconds to begin withdrawing, or we will stop you ourselves. You dare threaten the Korath 3rd Hunting Fleet? We have 6 ships. You have 3. You will be destroyed. Captain G1 looked at Admiral Hajin and nodded. The time for talking was over. All ships, Admiral Hajin announced, weapons free. Show them what humans do to bullies. The stars looked peaceful in the Kepler 442 system. Captain Yuki stood on the bridge of the Valerian research ship Stellar Bloom, watching the gentle glow of distant suns through the main window. Her blue skin shimmered softly in the starlight, and her large, Kind eyes reflected the wonder she always felt when exploring new places in space. "Captain, we found another crystal formation," called out Dr. Nami from her science station. The young Valerian's voice was excited. "This one is even bigger than the last." The life forms inside are singing, Yuki smiled. The Valerians had been studying these amazing crystal creatures for 3 months now. The beings lived inside beautiful glowing rocks that floated through space like tiny stars. They made music that sounded like gentle bells ringing in the wind. No other species in the galaxy had ever seen anything like them. "Put the song on the speakers," Yuki said. Soon the bridge filled with the soft, beautiful music of the crystal beings. It made everyone feel calm and happy. The Stellar Bloom was not a big ship. Only 12 Valerians worked on it, all scientists who loved to discover new life in the galaxy. They had no weapons because Valerians never fought anyone. They believed all life was precious and should be protected. "Captain," said Navigator Kenji, looking worried at his control panel, "I'm getting strange readings. Something big is coming toward us." Yuki moved to his station and looked at the screen. 6 large shapes were moving through space, coming closer fast. They were still too far away to see clearly, but the computer was already trying to identify them. "Those are ships," Kenji said, his voice getting scared. "Really big ships." The computer finished its scan and showed the results on the main screen. Yuki's heart sank when she saw what they were facing. 6 massive Korath hunter ships, each one 5 times bigger than the Stellar Bloom. The ships looked like giant metal beasts with long, sharp parts sticking out from their hulls. Everyone in the galaxy knew what those ships meant. "Korath hunters," whispered Dr. Nami. Her hands started shaking. "They're slavers." The Korath were one of the most feared species in the galaxy. They traveled in large groups, looking for peaceful races to capture and sell. They had been doing this for hundreds of years. Their ships were built for hunting, with special nets that could catch other ships and weapons that could make people unable to move or think. "All crew to emergency stations," Yuki announced over the ship's communication system. "We have Korath hunters approaching. Prepare for possible capture protocols." The Valerian crew moved quickly but calmly. They had trained for this situation, even though they had hoped it would never happen. Everyone knew that if the Korath caught them, they would be sold as slaves to whoever paid the most money. The 6 hunter ships surrounded the Stellar Bloom in a perfect circle. They moved like a pack of space wolves, each one knowing exactly where to go. The lead ship was bigger than the others, with more weapons and a hull painted with the marks of many successful hunts. "Valerian vessel. This is Commander Taman of the Korath 3rd Hunting Fleet," came a rough, angry voice over the communication system. "You will shut down your engines and prepare for boarding. Resist and you will be damaged. Comply and you will be processed safely." Captain Yuki knew what processed meant. The Korath would put control devices in their brains and sell them to whoever wanted Valerian slaves. Valerians were popular in the slave markets because they were smart, peaceful, and good at science and medicine. "This is Captain Yuki of the research vessel Stellar Bloom," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "We are conducting peaceful scientific research. We have no weapons and pose no threat to anyone." Commander Taman laughed, a sound like metal scraping against stone. "Peaceful species make the best slaves, Captain. Your cooperation is noted and will increase your selling price." The Korath ships began moving closer. Strange lights appeared on their hulls as they powered up their capture systems. Large nets made of energy started forming between the ships, ready to wrap around the Stellar Bloom like a giant spiderweb. "Kenji, can we run?" Yuki asked quietly. The navigator checked his instruments and shook his head. "They're too fast, Captain. Their ships are built for hunting. We're built for science. They'll catch us before we can even start moving." "Send a distress signal on all emergency frequencies," Yuki ordered. "Maybe someone will hear us." "Captain," said Dr. Nami softly, "there are no allied ships in this sector. We're too far from the main space lanes. No one comes here except us and hunters." The crew looked at each other with sad but brave faces. They all knew they might not see their homeworld again, but they also knew they had lived good lives, helping to discover new wonders in the universe. The energy nets were almost ready. Captain Yuki could see them glowing brighter as the Korath ships moved into their final positions. In a few minutes, the Stellar Bloom would be caught, and her crew would begin their journey to the slave markets. "At least the crystal beings will be safe," Dr. Nami said, looking at the beautiful formations floating nearby. "The Korath only hunt people, not space crystals." Commander Taman's voice came over the communication system again. Final warning, Valerian ship. Shut down all systems now or we will disable you with force. You have 30 seconds to comply. Yuki looked around at her crew one last time. They were good people who had spent their lives trying to make the galaxy a better place. It wasn't fair that their story would end like this, but sometimes life wasn't fair. All crew prepare for capture, she said sadly. Remember, stay calm and help each other. We'll face whatever comes next together. The Korath ships moved closer. Their nets began to reach toward the stellar bloom. The hunt was almost over, but far away in space, 3 mysterious ships had been watching everything. Ships that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. Ships from a blue world called Earth, where a species called humans had been quietly learning about their new galactic neighbors. The humans had been waiting for the right moment to introduce themselves to the galaxy. They had not planned for it to happen like this, but sometimes the right moment chooses itself.